It's a good morning, parents. How is everybody doing? If you're finding me for the first time, please go to my page, like my page. I also have a YouTube channel. These videos are moved to the YouTube channel when I'm done. So you can find my videos on YouTube, especially to share with those people who are not on Facebook. Not everybody's on Facebook, but if there's a video that we are going to cover that you like, you can always share it with your friends. You can always share it with your family member. So my name is Penny again. I decided for this year I'm going to spend my time in this group talking to other parents, because I see parents who are just like me, raising their children, going through their daily struggles. And if you're passing through and you happen to find me and I do not interest you, please skip the page. And I still do a friendly reminder that when somebody posts something, or if somebody is doing something on social media that you don't like, instead of abusing them or instead of writing negative comments, keep it moving, because sometimes we don't know whose life, which person that really needs you. I could be talking to somebody today right now that is going to listen to me and be encouraged, especially those ones who are raising teen children or adult children. It is very hard. Children can be disappointing, children can be draining, but some people, I should say, they are blessed. Their children don't give them a hard time. So sometimes those are the parents who are very judgmental, who like to say negative things because they are not going through crisis. So they don't understand that other people are going through crisis. So here today we are talking about this book. I'm going through this book, and I said again that the writer is an American writer. So if some of these things don't apply to you, depending on where your geographical placement is, please don't do them, because the culture is different and some things are not, they might not even make sense. Like here, kids like keeping fish, and there are things that happen here and they don't happen in Kenya. So try to use your judgment. Whatever you think is good for you, use it. And we want to see healthy children. We want to see our children growing and progressing to be productive adults. And we can share what we have learned from some of us who have already raised children. We can tell you some of the mistakes we made, and if we had a second chance, what we could do. So today we are going to do the 7 principles of the reality discipline. That is the discussion here. And the writer is asking a few questions here. The first question they are asking: how do you love your children? Ask yourself, how do I love my children? How do I respect my children? How do I hold my children accountable when they make mistakes or when they do things that they are not supposed to do? What actions do you take when a child has done something that you are not okay with? How can I get my children to do things that they ought to do at the right time? Because children get to a stage where they do what they want to do. How do I punish my children? What are the consequences of making bad choices? What do you do? Some of you spank. Some of you give the children timeout. Those are the few questions they're asking before they give you the 7 principles of parenting. And you know what he thinks as a writer, some of those principles you need to put together in order to discipline your children. And if you have older children, maybe like college age children, some of these things might not even apply. My target audience is people who have small children. If you have children below 18, this is a very good book for you. But children who are over 18, they're pretty much adults. So you guys need like a different book. There's another book for parents who are raising children who are over 18. This book is good for children who are younger. So the first thing they're saying, point number 1, is to establish an authority over your children. Your children need to have respect for authority. The first place that children learn to respect authority is in the house. They don't learn it at work. They don't learn it at the daycare. They don't learn it outside the home. Children from a very early age need to learn from the parents to respect authority, to know that, you know what, if mommy finds out I did this, if daddy finds out I did this, clear consequences are in their mind. Not debating, clear. They know what's going to happen. And when we talk about authority, they should know expectations of the parents once they do something wrong in the house. Once they go to school and do something, your children should be able to know what kind of punishments, okay, are you going to give them. You are the authority. You are the first authority that your children have to deal with before they can even go to the police. The second point, hold your children accountable for their actions. When the children are small, let's go back to breastfeeding. When you're breastfeeding a child, they bite you. For me, I used to spank them. When they bite me, I just hit. One of my boys used to bite. One time he beat me, I hit him. I'm like, stop. So, when children are little, when we're talking about breastfeeding, like my son was probably 2 years, 6 months, they need to know that if they do something, there is actions that are going to be taken. And they need to be accountable for whatever they are doing. Don't just let kids do things. Or sometimes the child will just go throw the dishes in the sink and they go. Or your child will just come and throw their shoes anywhere and they go. Your child will come and just eat and spill food everywhere. Then you are going to call, especially you people in Kenya, then you are calling the maid. You are telling the maid, come clean after John. Your child takes a shower, splashes water all over, and then you're calling the maid. These children, you're training them to be people who are going to go out there and start living their life. Okay? The other thing is, number 3, let reality be the teacher to your children. I know parents who protect their children who've done bad things, and they want to find a way to protect them. The more you protect your children from accepting when they've made a mistake and taking responsibility, the harder it's going to be. Okay? Let the children learn from the lessons, the daily lessons. For us here, like I said, in America, most of us keep pets like fish or dogs. If you don't feed a fish, or if you don't put water in a fish tank, it's going to die. And for me, I started gardening. If you don't water the plants, even the plants in the house, they will die. Okay? So let your children make the mistakes. Don't protect your children from making mistakes and trying to protect them from the teachers punishing them. Let the children learn at a very early age to face the consequences of their choices. Okay? Let the reality hit. Another example here is for us who drive, like we are driving distance to our school, to our children's school. Your children forgets homework this week, you drive it to school. Your child forgets homework next week, you drive it to school. You're making this child think that you're always going to be there. Just ask yourself, if you drop dead today and your child is being raised by an auntie or an uncle, is the auntie and uncle going to have time to be dropping homework to your children? So we hoof around the kids. They forgot the gym clothes. They forgot to set the alarm. These little things that the children do, and we just don't hold them accountable. You need to hold them accountable. Let them miss gym. Let them get the punishment in school. Let them miss the bus. They miss school. Let them stay in the house. Let those reality punishments happen. Don't think that they are little, because the more you protect them, the harder it becomes when they become adults. There's nobody who's going to be there pampering them. The world doesn't pamper children out here once they turn 18 and go to college. Okay? You cannot fix your children's failures. When the children move out of your house, you're not going to fix their failures. Their failures are always going to be there. And even as adults, we always have to fail. There is something that you're trying and it's not working. The earlier your children learn that they can fail, the better it is going to be for them. Don't protect your children in the home from failing, thinking that you're helping them out. Let them fail. Let them feel the disappointment. Let them feel sad, so they can learn to feel how it feels to fail. Okay? Use more action than words. We talk a lot. And for me, I always do the action. For instance, I can give you an example. There are children who don't keep time. You tell them to keep time, they never keep time. So when I'm leaving to go somewhere and they are not ready, I leave them. Okay? And I go. And that's the end. The other thing is, when they do something, all I have to do is look at them. Remember yesterday I told you guys we established a system for them to get allowance, to be paid every Friday. They used to get money. But in that allowance, there are things if you did or you didn't do, your money was going to be deducted. It got to a point where when I come in, I just look. I don't say anything. You need to get your children to a point where they should know exactly what to expect without you saying one word. Sometimes you just look and you turn around. It's not all the time you need to talk to your kids and say this and threaten them. No. Put that respect in between there. They know what to expect with just your eye contact. Because you know what? You don't need to be told everything. And eye contact is enough to tell you that, you know what, when this happens, even remember when we were growing up, you knew there's a look that your mother gave you that, you know what, after the guests are gone, I'm going to dance to the music. Let your children know your expectations without you saying anything. They know what's going to happen. They will exactly tell you, oh, this and that is going to happen. And like my daughter, she used to take responsibility for it. She'll be like, I know, I'm not getting money this Friday. I'm like, fine, yeah, cry. You cry. Just know you're crying. It's going to cost you 25 cents. If you didn't do your chores, it's 50 cents. If you didn't finish your homework, I put that list of all the things that your children do. Pin it against the fridge and give them that allowance. And let me tell you, it's not only the rich people who give children allowance. Allowance can be given as little as 10 shillings. Teach the children the value of money. With 10 shillings, even in Kenya, you can go and buy sweets. Let them earn a certain amount. Don't think that one day you're going to be rich until you give them allowance. You're giving them allowance to practice how to to spend the money. You're giving them allowance to deduct so they know that when you call out of work, you don't get paid. When you go to your job and you say you are not going to work, you don't get paid. When you come to work, you don't do the work, you don't get paid. They need to learn those skills early. Give them 20 shillings. Give them 50 shillings. And let them practice. Tell them to take some money to church, spend some money. And then if they have a leftover or whatever, the extra money, then they can do whatever they need to do after they've done the important things. You tell them to save first. You tell them to give God money. And then you go spend whatever little things and put the other money somewhere. You understand? They need to learn. Don't wait to be rich, because your children might be very rich because you've educated them, but they might never know how to manage money. Number 5, stick to your guns, don't shoot yourself. Once you've said something, stick with it, however painful it is. Once you've threatened your child, like now my college age children, I tell them, if they are failing in class, if anybody gives me a C, they have to stop working. And you know, when I make that promise, I am keeping that promise. When you have said something, don't change the thing because you want to please the child or you're feeling sorry. Make promises and threats that you know you're going to honor. Okay? Number 6, relationships come before rules. Before you make all these rules, all these things to discipline your children, make sure you've established a good relationship with your child. You don't just start setting up all these rules. You have to bond. You have to have that connection. When your things are okay, like my children, I tell them, I explain why I have high expectations of them. I tell them, I'm from the village. I went to school barefoot. I used to go to the posho mill. I used to pick tea. I used to milk cows. I tell my children all kinds of things that I used to do. And I've taken them home. I take them home often, so I can show them Nyandochewere village where I grew up and why I have expectations of them given the background that I have. So establish a good relationship so that way the children know why you act the way you act. Because sometimes, especially these American children here who are far away from home, they might not understand why you act. But I want my children to know that I act how I act because I'm from the village. I'm not from this country. So my actions are based on how I was raised. So make that relationship good. Invest in building a good relationship with your children before you start punishing them. You can't just come from nowhere and start punishing your children. At least have those conversations where they know where you're coming from. The last one is live by your values. Some of us, we do things and we expect children to do things we are not doing. If you're telling kids to clean, even you clean. If you're telling children to cook, at least come cook with them. If you're telling your children to work hard in school, even you work hard, do something. You're telling your children to be organized, you need to get organized. You're telling your children to be nice, even you be nice. Stop gossiping. Try to model those good behaviors that you want your children to have. You cannot expect your children to be doing things you're not doing. So live by your values and what do you believe in. That's why we are supposed to choose the friends. We are supposed to choose who we surround ourselves with, because you're modeling. Children don't learn by being told in theory. Children learn by what you're modeling to them. You can't tell children one thing and you're doing another thing. Okay? So that is the last principle, which is principle number 7. Okay, people? Again, thank you for watching. It has been a quick one, all right? And we all need to believe that we can make a difference. We can only make a difference by telling yourself that, you know what? I believe I can change my children's destiny. I believe I can change my destiny. I believe I can give my children a better future. Yesterday, I told my children that had it not been for my father who decided to educate himself and bring me to America, they could have not been born here. You have to decide at a very early age to make a difference. Your children are not going to be able to get where you want them to go if you yourself as a parent, you are not making those choices for them. My father made the choice for us to come to America. Here I am sitting talking because I enjoy sitting talking and mentoring other children who are not as fortunate to have parents like I did. My dad was very formal. My dad was very organized. He told us everything. He outlined what we needed to do. He put the expectations on the table. He told us, he predicted the future based on our behavior. So some of us, we were blessed to have that in our life. And I'm here to speak to those people who either they were not raised by their parents or they never had parents who spoke to them. And that's what brings me to Facebook. I just want to be a mentor to 1 or 2 people, guys. May the Lord God bless you, and cheers. And if you've not liked my page, please do that. That is so helpful to me. And when you come to my page, I do reels. If you see those reels, the reels that you like, share them. Because whatever I'm going to get from the reels, I'm going to share it. I am really praying about a program I want to start in these groups for parenting. And I pray God to guide me so I can follow through with the program. Because I said, this year is me and these parents. I want to see how far I can go with these parents. Because you guys come here and you write some of the saddest stories. But let me tell you, success varies. What is success to you is not success to another person. Decide where you want to go with your children. Decide where you want to go to your family. And find problems in your community and solve them. That is what's called a business. Look where you are. Look what's lacking. Look what is not in the local area. And supply it and make money. Once you make money, you are able to provide and pay school fees for your children. You may never lack. Anybody who wakes up by 4 or 5 in the morning, they say the early bird does what? Catches a worm. May the Lord God bless you, and thanks for watching. Please follow me on my page.